Wisconsin's agricultural ambassador Alice in Dairyland helps tell the story of food and farming across the state. Storytelling is what attracted Michelle Stangler from Watertown to apply for the job.
Well, I grew up on one of Wisconsin's 99% family-owned dairy farms in Watertown and really have loved the stories that I heard from my dad while we were milking our cows, taking care of our calves, and that just led me to take on so many opportunities after that. So took a year off to serve as a Wisconsin FFA state vice president and then went to college, and ever since just had a lot of internships in communications and marketing and journalism. That's where my love is. I love telling stories and have had the opportunity to travel to different areas, all contributing back to seeing how special Wisconsin agriculture truly is.
Shameless plug, you interned with the Midwest Farm Report. I think that was one of your first communications internships. So storytelling's always been a passion of yours, as you said. Give me an example of a story that's stood out to you during your time in that field.
And I remember when I did a story with the Midwest Farm Report talking about gelato, and that story really brought value because I didn't see that part of the uniqueness that Wisconsin agriculture brings. And so I just loved hearing from the farmer's perspective how she was going to eventually use her cow's milk into a value-added product. But I think what makes Wisconsin so unique is that we have so many specialty products. When I think about a story, I think about ways to connect with different audiences, and how I did that is just hearing and listening and then communicating that out to different audiences. So I've worked with both farmer-facing audiences and with a general audience as well, working in mainstream television station.
Thank you, Michelle. Now, what about your familiarity with the Alice in Dairyland program? I'm sure when you were at the county fair, serving as a fairist, or at one of your various internships, you had to have run into Alice, right?
I've known Alice in Dairyland for quite a few years now. When I served as a Wisconsin FFA state officer, Abigail Martin and we went to the Houstisford FFA chapter, and we were there, and I knew about her then, but we had started talking, and then every Alice after her, I've just, always enjoyed just taking pictures behind the scenes because I know how valuable that is in some of the roles that I've been part of, whether it's communications or journalism. But then really started to think about it, seeing how much I really love Wisconsin agriculture and talking to former Alice's like Julia Nunes, who has really played a huge role into who I am today. And so I really admire Alice for her ability to make connections throughout Wisconsin and beyond, whether it's a consumer or a farmer, ultimately bridging them together to really help grow Wisconsin's agriculture.
Is that why you wanted to run?
Today, I contribute to a variety of journalism outlets, and the opportunity to hear other people's stories is so fulfilling. And so I wanted to run for Alice in Dairyland because of the connections she makes and because of the opportunities to really grow agriculture. And I think serving in an industry that has really made me into the person I am today, and being able to be a small piece in growing that would be truly an opportunity of a lifetime.
We've all heard that this top candidate experience is one of the hardest job interview processes around. So tell me, how do you best prepare for something like this?
For me, I'm going to continue to have conversations with hopefully former Alice's and people who want to talk about Wisconsin agriculture, so then I can essentially tell different stories in agriculture at the finals in May. And so it's just having conversations and just learning and growing and being the best version of myself and seeing how I can make an impact on Wisconsin agriculture if chosen.
What do you think gives you an edge in being the next Alice in Dairyland?
Well, I'm one of 6, and like you mentioned, there are so many cool talents that we all have. The talents that I can really bring to this program is having an understanding of different strategies to communicate with different people. I've been in roles in communications and marketing and journalism, and this is an ambassador, so it's really communications focused. But I've talked to farmers, I've talked to mainstream media, and so the ability to understand and to connect with those audiences, I think really sets me apart.
Michelle Stangler along with us, hoping to continue her passion for telling the story of Wisconsin agriculture as the 78th Alice in Dairyland. Michelle hails from Watertown. She's a graduate of UW River Falls, and today she contributes to local and national news media outlets. She's one of 6 top candidates for the Alice position. You can read more about the candidates at MidwestFarmReport.com. I'm Stephanie Hoff.